Okay. Should be live. Hello, everybody in the future. So, setting up this live stream has been a huge pain in the butt. The weather is really bad where I am, and I always have to talk about how the internet has just not been great in this house since we purchased it and moved in last summer, almost a year ago. And so I was having weird issues getting this started because it looked like the playback was like cutting out every like 1 second, but it actually seems like that's just what it shows me. But when you actually are on the live stream, it seems to work. And it does work. I'm double checking the replay on my phone because if I double check it on my computer, it's just a disaster. I think it's YouTube's. I think it's YouTube because I tried it with both the webcam on my laptop and my actual separate webcam here, and it did the same thing. So that was really dumb. Anyway, I'm excited to just do a normal live stream and talk about video games and E3 hype instead of YouTube's crappy internet service just not working. So I already see people popping in. Hello, everybody. Let me do my standard Twitter share of the old live stream, and then we'll get going here. Boy, that was so frustrating. I was freaking out because it's like, is my laptop broken? Is it my webcam, which is like a pretty nice webcam? It's like, what is going on? I think it's YouTube. So if you guys, as per usual, if you see a bunch of weird cutting in and out or just weird playback on the stream, just let me know. And hopefully I don't have to end it. All right, let's do that. Boy, it's so weird. So weird. All right. I'm chatting. Come hang out. Up. Okay. Sweet. I'm going to make sure one more time. I'm so paranoid that it's not working because of YouTube being stupid. Um, I'm doing this sideways. Beautiful. Okay. All right. No more looking at my phone, hopefully. All right. Sorry, guys. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. E3 is 3 weeks away. E3 weeks away. Something like that. Really exciting. A lot of people in the chat. Oof is here. Hello, Oof. Deshaun Bush, what's happening? Don't know if I've seen you in here, but yes, get hyped for E3. I agree. Thanks for being here. Lewis, what's up? Isaac, my main man, Isaac. Good to see you here, buddy. David DeSalvo. Oh my gosh, I already got a super chat. Metroid Mercury stream just ditched the, I don't know what COJ is supposed to mean. Counter? Oh, ditch the counter? I guess I don't know what you mean by counter. Do you mean the melee counter? I got to obviously answer the super chat that I got already. Forrest Hoku, 20 Canadian bucks. Thank you so much for an awesome donation. Said, hey, man, been hectic lately, but I'm glad to be able to jump on another stream. Thanks. So glad to have you here. What's your E3 hype level out of 10 right now? Well, I have to say it's like a 9.9. I don't want to say 10 because that's easy, but I'd say like a 9.8, 9.9. I mean, there's a few reasons to be extra hyped for E3, right? I mean, the base level is the simple fact that it's been 2 years, right? This is the first E3 in 2 years, which is just crazy exciting. We had to take the year off last year, and it's been a very hectic and stressful year and a half or so for all of us. So having E3 comes back just feels like a nice bit of normalcy, something fun to just be excited about, something we're used to happening coming back after a year. So as far as everything happening, I'm excited. I love, of course, the fact that Nintendo is involved is awesome. The fact that Microsoft is involved is so awesome. I can't wait to see what they show because I'm ready to buy a Series X as soon as I see a couple, like 1 or 2 decent games I need. I want to buy a Series X. And Capcom is going to be there. Konami dropped out, which sucks. Square. I mean, it's just going to be great. And then as far as Nintendo goes, my hype is, a 9.9 because clearly this has to be the year where Nintendo comes out really strong. There's tons. We all know about the leaks and the conversations, and I've talked about it, and plenty of other YouTubers have talked about it. All sorts of articles and tweets going around. I've heard a lot of the same stuff being discussed. I am very excited about the things I've heard, as well as what's been discussed in all the public leaks. I think that Zelda is going to be a huge focus. I totally believe I believe in a Metroid game being made. I don't know that it's showing up at E3. So again, I've discussed that. But as far as just Metroid being a possibility, I feel great about that. The Donkey Kong thing, I think we might see a new Mario game. I'm hoping Bayonetta 3. I believe a lot of what's been discussed. So it's just a really exciting time. I mean, I think E3 as a whole is going to be a fun, successful show if the ESA pulls it off, fingers crossed. And I think Nintendo's going to be killing it. I just really think it's going to be a great year for Nintendo. Like, they got to come out strong. 2019 right now is kind of bare. Or listen to me, 2019, 2021, the year we're in, is kind of barren, right? So it's like we know about games being made, Zelda, Metroid, Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, but we don't know anything about those games, plus the other rumors. So while I think Microsoft and everyone's going to have a good show, I think Nintendo's going to kill it too. I'm very confident in what could be happening, and it's just very exciting. So I got another super chat. Kieran, I'll get to you in a second. I do want to keep responding and saying hey to everybody else. Thanks again, Forrest, for the awesome super chat. And I also love the fact that you guys are talking means that obviously the stream is going fine. So that makes me really happy. Arbiter of Truth, hello. Ethan Duckwitz. I'm the Goose. Hello, I'm the Goose Man. Well, hello, Goose Man. Josh Waterfield. Glad to have some time to catch the live stream and chat about games. Yeah, glad you're here. What do I have gloves on for? What do you mean, what do I have gloves on for? Do I have gloves on? I don't get it, Isaac. What do you mean? Unless you mean somebody else. Josiah Torres. Hey, Rob. Have you played or heard of Subnautica games? Yeah, I've heard of Subnautica. I've seen some footage. It looks interesting, but it hasn't super appealed to me. I know it's probably a good game. I just haven't actually had a chance to check it out. So maybe someday. Hello, Shadow Price. Mario Arenas. Hi, Rob. You may have already discussed it in another video, but what's your take on Skyward Sword and Amiibo? Yeah, my last video from 2 days ago is exactly that, actually. I know you said you would get the game and it comes out on your birthday. That is true. I would say watch my video, but the quick version is I think the Amiibo is awesome because this version of Zelda is my favorite Zelda that's ever existed in any game. And I think the Amiibo looks cool. I'm not outraged at the feature that's behind the Amiibo paywall, but I don't love the choice. And the fact that it's a $25 Amiibo as opposed to a $13 Amiibo does make it even more problematic. So while I'm still getting the game and very hyped, I've decided to probably not pick up that Amiibo. It just doesn't feel right to do that. But the game is going to be great. I'm excited to replay it. And it comes out on my birthday, like you said. Choof Plays, what's happening? Luke's channel. Hello, Luke. David DeSalvo already said hi to you. Oh, you mean the melee counter? Yeah. J.A. says, good timing for Metroid rumors. Just finished Super Metroid for the millionth time. Nice. Yeah, I started replaying Super Metroid about 2 weeks ago as well. And I'm like, I don't know, 85% through it. I think I just got the grapple beam. Was that the last thing I got? I'm pretty far. I haven't been back. I got distracted. But I've beaten it like 10 times. Think Cap, Bayonetta 3 this year. I hope so. Jaja, when is E3 coming out? Well, June 12th is the first day of E3, Saturday. Okay, Kieran with an awesome donation, $6.66. I love it, 666. Hey, Robbie, here RGT take on the Metroid Prime trilogy. Yes, of course I have. I haven't talked to Sean in a long time, but I know Sean very well. And I did see his video where he discussed his opinion on that. He said would have more of an impact on Switch than a new 2D Metroid. Do you agree? I think it's hard to predict that. I would say that either could be true. So I don't think it's a crazy statement. I don't think he's totally off base. The thing is, like, 2D Metroid is a famous form of Metroid. I love 2D Metroid. I want another 2D Metroid so bad. But the Prime games, the Prime like name of Metroid Prime and the three existing Prime games, along with Super Metroid, are the most famous games. Like any modern gamer today, including maybe younger people who just aren't familiar with Metroid or have never played Metroid, most people do know the Prime games. They know of Metroid Prime. That's the most recognizable name and game within the series. It also has the most modern feel because it's 3D graphics and it's a first-person game. So I think that the Prime formula and structure also applies more today than the 2D game. But the press and hype around a big, beautiful, expansive 2D Metroid game for the Switch, not the 3DS, but the Switch, to be able to sell it on the hype of Metroid coming back to 2D while we wait for Prime 4 could also be huge. So that's where it's like 50-50. I mean, until we know which is real and what they're doing with either, it's hard to say. Does that make sense? Like they both kind of have merit. So Sean could totally be right. I don't think it's crazy. But I don't know that it's exactly that either. I think a 2D game could make just as much of an impact, if not more so, depending on what they're doing with it. So yeah, I think the best way they could do that, if I think about it, would be if they announce a 2D Metroid while at the same time showing a teaser or a gameplay trailer for Metroid Prime 4. Because what they do at that point is any potential like negative interest in a 2D Metroid would be counterbalanced by the fact that they showed Prime 4. So Nintendo gets to sell Metroid as a package deal. Like, here's the beautiful first person, amazing looking Prime 4 we've been waiting for. Look at this, first person shooter fans. But then while you're waiting, here's this awesome looking 2D Metroid game, so that people know that by buying into the 2D Metroid, they're also setting themselves up to jump in when Metroid Prime 4 comes out. So I think if that makes sense to you guys, that might be one of the most successful ways Nintendo could sell the 2D Metroid idea. You know, like if that happened at E3 next month, for example. So time will tell. Time will tell, will tell. Malik, what's up? Oh, God, I skipped way down. Hey, let me scroll back up. Dude, a lot of people jumping in quick, a lot of questions. Thank you guys so much. What's up, Malik? I've been good, man. I just got back from a workout, probably about 45 minutes ago. Showered, took my puppy out who's healing from a surgery. And then I tried to get this live stream going for a couple minutes. So got to see Metroid this year. I agree. Risky Chris, what's up? My health is good. Thanks for asking, Risky Chris. I appreciate you. I don't think I've seen you on a live stream before. So thanks for being here. And yeah, I won't bore you guys too much. But yeah, my health is good. You know, so I had my initial shoulder surgery because you guys probably know what happened. I blacked out just over 2 months ago. The running theory was a seizure, but I'm not quite so sure that that's what is really happening here. While I blacked out, I chipped a tooth. I smacked my head and bruised my head, probably had a concussion, and I broke my shoulder. So I had shoulder surgery 2 months ago. I have my next shoulder surgery on June 15th, which is the last day of E3. And I hope that Nintendo does not hold a presentation on that day. I just want to be able to watch their presentation, react, get excited, make a video, then I'll go under the knife. You know, so it's just working out the way it is. But I have a plate they put in my shoulder, and that has to come out next month. Also I saw a neurologist because of whatever might have happened in my brain. I had a bunch of tests done on my brain. I had a CAT scan. I had an MRI, which is a totally weird experience. And I had an EEG, where they hook my brain up to all these little electrodes and test my sleeping patterns. So, and all that stuff came back great. Okay. So the best part about that, and I promise I'll get past this and get back to E3 in a minute, you guys. But I'll say the best part about the tests that I went through and the good results is it ruled out like all of the worst case scenarios, because we had to find out, why did I randomly black out? Like, I'm a healthy person. I'm very fit. I'm very active. I eat very healthy. You know, I just am I'm a healthy guy. And so to suddenly have my brain freak out and do something was very strange and scary. For the first time ever at 40 years old, all of a sudden this happened. And so, the worst case scenarios were like cancer. What if there was like a tumor on my brain or something, making my brain do something weird? Or they thought maybe I had epilepsy. And luckily the results from the MRI and the EEG, CAT scan, all that stuff came back great. No signs of nothing. No tumors, no growths, nothing malignant, no signs of epilepsy. So it's like, we don't really yet know why I blacked out, but it seems like, we ruled out the worst case scenarios. So now, I've got more meetings with the neurologist and follow up, see if I need medication or something. But that seems to be going well, which is most important. And so now it's just about the shoulder. In fact, this is really trippy. I should just post this. Let's see if I can share a picture of the plate that's in my shoulder. And then I promise last thing, and we're getting back to video games. Where is that picture? Come on. Let's see if this comes through well on the camera. Does that come through? Yeah, that comes through. See, that's my shoulder, and you can see the plate and the screws and the hook and stuff. So this is the X-ray live stream, apparently. But that's what's in my shoulder now. And it's finally like, it doesn't hurt. I can move my arm about this high, but that's got to come out next month. Anyway, thank you guys for sitting through that. Thank you, Chris, for asking about a health update. I do appreciate it. 2021 has been a very rough year for myself. So it's nice to be feeling good. Okay. Back to video games and back to E3. Let's talk about that stuff. Hello, T. Fernbach, DKC fan. I'm going to have to scroll down. There's so many questions. Let me get back up a little bit here. Hey, Falcom. Good to see you, buddy. Riley Shield says, hey, Rob, do you want Metroid Prime 4 to be single player only, or do you want a team deathmatch type mode? Well, I've talked about that a lot. I don't really like, here's what I care about. I want the single player experience to be great. I want it to be nice and long. I want it to be well crafted and a ton of fun, and to just be an amazing fourth adventure Metroid Prime game. That's what I'm hoping it is. Now, could they or should they do a multiplayer mode? I would say yes. Let me check something here. I'm always checking the stream quality here. Yeah, we're still good. Could they do a multiplayer mode? Yes. Would I be okay with it? Yes, as long as they don't take anything away from the quality or the time spent on the single player for Metroid Prime 4. And I don't know if I need the multiplayer to be team deathmatch, like you say. Like, that would be fine. I think some kind of co-op mode or some kind of, I don't know, different way to make Metroid work in an online setting. Something almost like a Federation Force mode for the game has been discussed. I think that could be really cool. So I think that the benefit to doing something multiplayer for Metroid Prime 4 is that even if it's bad, it won't matter if the single player campaign is as good as it's supposed to be. So if the actual game and the story blows us away and it's a 10 out of 10, but then it's got this crummy multiplayer, who cares? Metroid Prime 2 is a great example. It had a really not very interesting multiplayer mode, but the game, the story was so good, so long and expansive, so much fun that it didn't hurt the game that it had a really boring multiplayer mode. The same could be true for Prime 4. But the benefit is that if the multiplayer mode they would make is actually good, it could only help the game. That's the brilliance of it. If it's bad, it won't hurt the game. If it's good, it's going to help the game. Because I like the idea of Metroid Prime 4 having a reason to stay in like an ever-present, continual conversation. Because if they don't do that, the game will come out, we'll all play through it, and in the first probably month to 2 months, everyone will be like, oh, Metroid Prime 4, it's so good, it's amazing, wow, the ending was crazy, this is great, Metroid is back. But once we finish the game and then say our opinion on it, the conversation goes away. And while that's fine, I mean, most single-player games, that's what happens. I think there could be something to allowing some sort of online ecosystem that allows us to keep talking about the game and experiencing new content or maybe DLC story missions. I mean, there could be all sorts of cool things they do with it. And, in the modern era, that can be a good thing if it's done well. And I want to believe Nintendo would do it well. So I think it could all work out. That's my long answer about that, the Metroid Prime 4 stuff. Thank you, Brady. Says, glad you're doing well. I appreciate you. Hey, Christopher, what's happening? Am I a Fortnite gamer now since Samus will be added? That is not confirmed, Chris. You bite your tongue. I don't need Samus to be flossing in like a cartoon kids game, even though it would be good for the franchise, like people say. I know. But I just don't care. Yo, what's up, Story Yuha? DKC fan says, Rob, which Xbox studio can bring Banjo-Kazooie back to the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart level? I mean, it should be Rare. I know Rare isn't as good as they used to be, but in theory, it should be Rare. Outside of that, I mean, what? They have Ninja Theory, they have the Coalition, Obsidian. I mean, I guess those are all talented studios. They're not known for making like 3D platformers, but Any talented studio can do anything good with any franchise if they want. Showed her in the Fortnite comics. What? Did that happen, Chris? What you talking about? Oh, well, I saw, yeah, I mean, there was that whole thing. Oh my God, Jake, what's up, dude? Hey, man. My main man, Jacob. Dude, good to talk to you, man. We haven't talked in person in forever, but it's good to see you on the live stream. That's cool, man. Jake, you ready for Halo to show up at E3, man? You think it's going to happen? I think it could happen. I got faith in Halo, man. Everyone's down on Halo, but I think Halo Infinite's going to be great. I don't care about the behind the scenes, whatever. I think they will make sure to deliver a great Halo game. I'm excited. I am excited. Oh yeah, Bethesda. I don't see Bethesda making a Banjo-Kazooie game. That doesn't make any sense. Jake, you say you want them to take their time and not put out a subpar game. I agree, but I think that they will. Jake, let me ask you, what did you think about the first footage from last year that everyone lost their minds about? Because I thought it looked good. You know, just because it didn't look like, oh my God, the best graphics I've ever seen. Like, it still looked really great. It looked like a fun Halo game. I don't think I ever asked. Maybe I did. I don't know if I asked you what you thought. Hey, now, but no. Wait. Hey, but now no Elder Scrolls on PS5 because of Microsoft. Yeah, that's how the business works, man. That's what happens. Falcom says, what games are you looking forward to seeing at E3 next month, Rob? Well, you know, Halo from Microsoft for sure. Anything from Microsoft. I'd love to see new IPs. I was hoping to see Silent Hill before Konami dropped out, which sucks. More Monster Hunter stuff from Capcom. And then from Nintendo, it's like, I want to see Zelda. I want to see Metroid. I want to see Donkey Kong. I want to see Pikmin. I want to see Bayonetta. Like, I'm like, just like all of you guys, like, I want to see all the best games we hope to see. That's kind of where I'm at, you know? Xbox 2024. How you mean? How you mean Xbox 2024? Oh yeah, Fable. Johnny mentions Fable. Yeah, it is pretty far off, man. I don't know if there's a chance that we'd see Fable. So, Chris, you say the new Final Fantasy. Oh, I should make Jake a mod. People who I know in real life and I trust get that mod status. So, Chris, do you mean Final Fantasy 16? Or there's this rumor about like a Souls-like action Final Fantasy game coming out suddenly. So, Larry says, do you think new 2D Metroid will be visually impressive? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that if Nintendo, and I've believed, you guys, this 2D Metroid thing, I'm just going to tell you guys, it's real. Like, it's real. I think it's real. I just think that game exists. I don't know what's showing up next month. Again, showing up at E3 is different than a game being real. But I think that game is real. And I just don't see a world where Nintendo doesn't use an incredible art style, great graphics, hand-painted, 3D, polygon, pixel. I mean, I don't care what they do. I think they're going to go to the nines with the visuals on the game. And so I just think it's going to be amazing. Yeah, what's up, Major Blazer? Good to see you. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. Great. This is an exciting time, man. I went out of focus. There's so much. This E3, this current period is like the busiest pre-E3 period I can remember in a long time, okay? Just the sheer volume of things being discussed and the fact that a very large percent of the things being discussed have a really real chance of being real and being true. Some of them have been going around for a while. I just really believe in a lot of what's being discussed, you know? I'll say before, like, I don't, you know, like most of us, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going to happen at E3, but I do think a lot of what's being thrown around right now and leaked and stuff, and from the sources that a lot of it's coming from, I absolutely think much of that stuff is real. Showing up at E3 is different than being real, like I said. You know, the Donkey Kong thing, I really think the Donkey Kong will show up at E3. I'm not 100% on Metroid showing up at E3. Donkey Kong, yes. Zelda, without question. I don't know why anyone would question it. I know a lot of people think Breath of the Wild 2 is not going to release this year. And that's totally possible. But my feeling, and this isn't a rumor, this is just my feeling as a fan. I just think that game's coming out this year. It's going to happen. That game is a 2021 game. Chris says, also, I get my Resident Evil chapter info tomorrow. Oh, that's right, for Dead by Daylight. Prepare to see people complaining because they won't get what they want. Well, that's how I felt when the Silent Hill stuff was announced. But that's because Resident Evil's different because Resident Evil has been a relevant series forever. It's never stopped. Silent Hill has died because Konami's stupid. So when I see Konami outsourcing Silent Hill to another game franchise as opposed to making a game, that pisses me off. But with Resident Evil, it's totally fine. Trip and Falls, $2 super chat. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I would love to know what the failed Metroid Prime 4 game was. Me too. I'll tell you, I would pay money, real money, to whoever I would need to pay it to see the Metroid Prime 4 that was being worked on, that we assume was Bandai, although that has never been confirmed, but very likely was Bandai. And like, what was that game that was so bad it had to be scrapped and restarted and given to another team, and Nintendo had to have burned so much money on that. They burned so much money, which to me, I've laid this out to you guys before, whether we see this game next month or this year or not. Like, I think Nintendo's choice with Metroid Prime 4 shows that they're going to make it. It's just going to be the greatest game. Like, they were willing to waste the money and throw away that first version and spend a whole new pile of money on a new team and a new version. And that means that they won't let this game release unless it is the best possible Metroid Prime 4 it could be. Are you ready to talk about StarCraft? Oh, you know what? So, Chris, I think you're talking to someone else, but you bring up StarCraft Ghost. And fun fact, maybe you know this, I've played StarCraft Ghost because I went to E3 in 2004, the golden age of E3, by the way. This is pre-YouTube and social media, so there was just none of that garbage out there. It just was such a more pure experience. They weren't selling tickets to people. Like, you had to have an in to go, and I got to go. And StarCraft Ghost, I played it on both the original Xbox and the GameCube because that game was coming out for all three platforms, and it was a really cool third-person shooter. Was that character named Nova? I think that was the... Tell me if I'm wrong, Chris. I did tell you that. Okay. Oh, game's getting scrapped. Yeah. Yeah, that Titan game. What the hell? Didn't Titan become Destiny, or am I making that up? I thought Titan became Destiny. I don't remember. Yeah, Nova was her name. Yeah, I played that game. I might have a Polaroid where my girlfriend at that time was there, and she was taking pictures of me playing and vice versa. So I might have a Polaroid photo out in my living room of me playing that game. Wave Gamer with us, $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, think the secret image in Samus Returns be the direction for Prime 4 rather than a Metroid 5 experience? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe or maybe not. Do you mean the whole Chozo hint at the end of the game? I think that's probably what you're talking about. And I've been asking for Chozo stuff in Metroid for years now. Whether it's in Prime 4 or whether it's in the next 2D game, a Metroid 5, or both. I mean, we can't forget when they made Zero Mission, they added that extra, Zero Suit Samus kind of stealth thing at the end. And throughout the whole game, and especially the end, is all this Chozo lore and this Chozo imagery. So they really infused the whole concept of the Chozo into Zero Mission. And that was the second to last 2D game that they made, in 2004 before Samus Returns. So I think there's a chance that going forward with Metroid, whatever they're doing, I think the Chozo are going to play more of a part. And I think that, yes, the end of Samus Returns hints at that. I think the end of even Federation Force had a hint at some future stuff with the SAX gene. So they could go in any direction, man. It's really exciting. What title would I like for Metroid 5? I want Metroid Dread. That's what I want it to be, is Metroid Dread. Titan became Overwatch. Okay, thanks, Chris. I don't know why I thought it was Destiny. I don't know. Yeah, because I guess that was a Blizzard. Yeah, I forgot that was a Blizzard thing. So, yeah. Yep. Misha Goldman says, "What do you think the exclusive?" Oh, did my stream go bad? I thought I got a bad warning. Let's see. No, we're good. Okay. Sweet, 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 sweet. Um, what question was I at? Oh my gosh. Let me find the question I was answering. Um, oh Lord, I am so sorry. I don't know what question I was about to answer. Huh. Oh well. Falcom says, "Am I planning to visit Japan once everything is safe?" Yes, that's a dream destination of mine. Yeah, Dread, Pedro. I want Metroid. I think the Metroid Dread name and idea is coming back. It is coming back. Is it the 2D Metroid? I don't know. Are we going to see 2D Metroid next month at E3? I don't know, but it's possible. Um, Weave Gamer. Weave Gamer? Got to realize that Prime 4 and Samus Returns were announced at the same day. So, yeah, it's true. That is definitely true. Hello, Nintendo Josh. Falcom says you just want to see a Metroid game for the Switch. Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know, you guys. It's just, I was ranting about this a couple minutes ago. How I just am excited at what's going on with this year's E3 and this level of conversation. There's a chance that we're all getting led astray, okay? Because it's the return of E3, because it was, I think, shocking to most of us that Nintendo even decided to be a part of it. I think that we have a situation where some people, not everyone, but some people are out there just throwing all the most exciting stuff out there just to get people hyped because it's easy to do and it's easy for people to fall for it. So I think there's a lot of stuff that is smoke and mirrors, okay? Just because of the hype and the return and all of that stuff. You know, mostly on the Nintendo side, right? Although there was an image of a Resident Evil 4 remake, a fake image going out the last 24 hours or so that got people really excited, and I think that was confirmed to be fake. So there is stuff going around out there that's fake, that's not Nintendo related, but I do think some of the Nintendo stuff is overblown. But some of it I think feels real. Again, I believe the Donkey Kong rumor, and I believe the 2D Metroid thing. I think Donkey Kong is most likely going to be at E3. That makes the most sense. I believe in that leak and what that person says. The 2D Metroid thing, again, while I believe in the game, and I have for a very, very long time, I don't know that that's showing up next month. But if that happens, oh my God, it'll be so exciting. So I don't know. This just, and you know, the other thing is because this is a digital E3, so part of what's going on, and I think that they just confirmed they're going to announce the actual schedule and plans pretty soon. I think that what's going on is a little bit of mystery of what does a full digital E3 look like? We know how Nintendo can approach E3 from a digital perspective because they've been doing it for 8 years, since 2013. Even though last year they took a year off because there was no E3. But going back to 2013, Nintendo's had the digital approach to E3. Now, the entirety of E3 is going digital. And we're going to see every company, you know, your Capcom and your Square and your Microsoft and all these other companies, 2K, I think, all these companies, they're going to have their own digital approach. We don't know what that means, you know? We don't know if Microsoft is meant to focus on games coming from Square and Capcom and all these on their console, or if those companies need to take the lead. And we don't know if Nintendo's going to do the same. I even made a video about this recently. We don't know if Nintendo's even going to do the same format they normally do. Typically, on the first official day of E3, which is normally Tuesday, they hold their press conference or their E3 Direct, and then they follow it with 3 days of Treehouse, where they feature gameplay segments, playthrough segments, and interview the developers. They might do the same thing this year, but they might not. They might do it differently. And I discussed some options on how they might do it differently. I think most of us expect the same thing. Why wouldn't they just have a regular E3 Direct thing? They probably would. But would they do it on Tuesday, which is the last day of E3 this year? Or would they do it on Saturday or Sunday, days 1 or 2 of the show? So it's also like the dates of E3 being different also throws things out of whack. Everything is digital. The dates are different. Nintendo is used to doing it digital, so they could feasibly do it the same, but maybe they change it up to accommodate E3 and what the ESA has asked them to do. So Long story short, for all the leaks and rumors getting out there, one thing that is frustrating me that no one knows or has talked about is what Nintendo will actually do. Okay. Will they do it the same? Will they do it differently? What is their schedule? What are the dates and the times and all the stuff that we can expect? And as I was mentioning earlier on in the stream here, I'm worried they're going to do something on Tuesday the 15th because that's the date I have, unfortunately, my second surgery, which means if they're going to show Metroid Prime 4 and Donkey Kong and a new Mario and Zelda, on that Tuesday, I won't be able to see it as it happens unless it's really early in the morning, to be fair. And I don't know, once I come out of my surgery, it might be a good 3 days, 4 days until I could even make a video, maybe. So it's I hope that whatever they do it way before then so I can watch it, react to it, make a video or two discussing it, breaking it down. What I think I would do is let's say in a perfect world for me, they show Metroid stuff. 2D Metroid, Prime Trilogy, Prime 4, any combination. If they do that in an E3 Direct, what I would probably want to do is make a video breaking down the whole Direct and then make a specific video diving really deep on the Metroid stuff and whatever footage or whatever they give us. That's because I'm going to have so much to say, I know it. So I just hope that they're scheduled at such a way that it gives me time to be able to do it. That might not happen, maybe they end up doing their show on Tuesday and then I won't get to do that stuff for a couple of days and that'll be unfortunate. But it is what it is, real life takes precedence over YouTube and E3 and video games. My health and my safety and my surgery takes precedence over running this channel, making video contents, reacting to the show, talking about Metroid. That's the reality. What am I going to do? I'm not going to reschedule my surgery because of a video game thing. Honestly, I was very limited on the times and dates that I could pick. I chose the 15th because it was the last day of E3 and had the best chance of not having Nintendo's show. But I might have chosen wrongly. I won't know until Nintendo freaking tells us. We got 3 weeks to go. Come on. Come on, E3. Come on, Nintendo. What are you doing? I need to know. We all need to know what's going on. So that's my random rant. Let me check in again with you guys and see some questions. Because it's going to be, I'm so excited though, man. Honestly, the more I talk about it and think about it, the more I get excited. Today is Monday the 24th. Am I right? 3 weeks? Yeah, in exactly 3 weeks from today, it'll be day 3. It was 3 weeks from this past Saturday is the first day of E3. So we are in the final countdown, man. And it is going to be awesome. Awesome. What's my favorite Switch game? Asks Tasty Apple. Tasty Apple. I cannot talk today, you guys. It's this coffee. I went to the gym, worked out, sweated, came home, drank coffee, and apparently my brain is and my mouth can't keep up. My favorite Switch game is easily Breath of the Wild. It's not even a competition. It's the best game on the Switch. Let me see. Verum Verby says, why would Nintendo wait until the last day for maximum buzz? It'll be on day 1. Possibly. I mean, you might be right. Again, I chose the last day as my surgery because I think it's the least likely day. But what if, man? We don't know until we know. So that's just how things are. Yo, what's up, Pat? Nintendo Talk is in the house. E3 hype. Feels good again. I so agree. Doesn't it feel good again, man? Gosh, it feels good to just have E3 coming back and to have real companies involved. Because if you think about it, the announcement could have been E3's coming back this year. It's an all-digital show. And it's a bunch of the smaller tier developers and just, and I'm not trying to diss any smaller dev teams out there, but you know what I'm saying? Without your Nintendos and your Microsofts and your Capcoms, it would have been a different quality and it wouldn't have felt like a real E3. But we got the real deal companies involved. So this is going to be a real E3, digital or not. And that is just the best. I don't know how the ESA managed to do it, but we are so lucky that they did. I got another super chat. Hidden Gem Gamers? Yes, Hidden Gem Gamers. Thank you so much for a super chat. $5. I appreciate you. Says, I'm a huge fan of Raven Software. I would love to see them release anything that isn't Call of Duty. Have you ever played Singularity? It was Raven's last game. I think I've heard of it, but I definitely haven't played it. So I'm just going to look it up so I can see what it actually is. I should have typed in Singularity game. I'm getting the scientific phenomenon Singularity. Let me look up Singularity video game. I confuse my game with science. Oh, I definitely recognize that cover. Oh, that just looks like a sweet first person shooter. Oh, this was PS3 era. Oh, look at that. That looks cool. I have not played it, but it looks right up my alley. And I loved my PS3 back in the day. I wish I played this. You know, visually it looks cool. It's like a zombie or an alien shooting kind of thing. I don't have a screen share on YouTube's live stream program, or I would just show you guys that. Oh my God, Isaac is another huge donation every time, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. 25 bucks. What's up, Falcon Black? Good to see you. Yes, like the stream. Patrick says, seems like all eyes will be on Zelda stuff. Yeah, I think so. I'm obviously hoping for Metroid, but Zelda, I think, is going to be the star of the show. Okay, Isaac, $25 super chat. Thank you. Thank you as always. Prayers to you, my dude. Also, thank you. Also, I'm hoping they bring back more of the Kraken Empire in Prime 4. That's Trace from, God, I forgot that's the name of that race. Trace from Metroid Prime Hunters, which is interesting because Prime Hunters, it's so funny how Sylux is the one character from Prime Hunters that everyone remembers and that retro Nintendo pulled out and did something with by putting in Prime 3. But there's several other ones. I believe Trace is the sniper guy. Let me know if I'm right, Isaac, if my memory's right. I think Trace is the one who had the sniper rifle. Or like that was the starting weapon. They're not really discussed other than being a third faction. I mean, that's the thing, is like everything set up in Prime Hunters, with the exception of Sylux and Prime 3, is just completely stuck and tied to Metroid Prime Hunters. And like, it's tough because Prime Hunters, I think, was a good game. But it was a very basic, like the worst thing about Prime Hunters is the fact that the boss was the same boss at every planet, but they just had a different, it was like a little worm tower thing. I don't even remember, you know? And you just, it's like the same thing with just different attacks or whatever. But the multiplayer mode, which was the real star of the show with Prime Hunters, that had all of these cool new bounty hunters that were all different races, different armors, different weapons, different everything. Yeah, Trace is the sniper dude. See, I remember. I've beaten the game a couple times. I played it a lot though when it came out. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to see more stuff and more characters pulled from Prime Hunters and have them do something with it. To me, the best way, I don't really need much of that stuff thrown into like a Prime 4 campaign, but I think they could bring a Prime Hunters multiplayer kind of mode to Prime 4, and within that mode, deliver more on kind of the lore behind those characters. That's the way to do it. You know, and I mean, here's the thing. I'm a huge Metroid fan. I'm very steeped in a lot of the lore, but I'm not like a human Wikipedia for Metroid. So when you bring up the Kraken Empire, I don't really know much about that. It seems like you know more than I do, Isaac. So you say they're the most feared and hated. They could do something with that. To me, I like the games focusing on the bare essential story. And to me, that is Phazon, that is the Space Pirates, that is playing with the DNA of Metroids, and that is the Metroid Prime entity, which has also been Dark Samus until that was defeated, and who knows what's going on. You know, the Aurora units were a cool addition in Prime 3. If they want to bring in Trace's race, they could, I guess that could be cool. What's up, Brian? Yeah, go Avs, man. My buddy Brian in the chat, he is responsible for this gift. He gifted me this Avalanche hat. Perfect timing for it to show up in the mail because the Avalanche just sweeped the Blues yesterday. On to round 2, baby. Playoff hockey. Love it. Love it, love it. So thank you to my man, Brian. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Oh my God, Hidden Gem Gamers has another super chat, 20 bucks. Thank you guys so much. Singularity is a mix of BioShock and Half-Life. Sounds great to me. Was development for 2+ years, but it was too powerful to run on 7th gen hardware, so Activision forced Raven to scrap it and make it from scratch in less than 7 months. Oh, so the version that released that I was looking at screenshots, that was the remade version, not the original version. Because you said it was scrapped for 7th gen hardware, but I saw a PS3 game which was 7th gen, so I was confused there. I got it. It looks cool. Ravensoft is obviously a talented studio. And I like games. I like sci-fi shooters, space shooters, alien shooters, zombie shooters. I'm a sucker for the FPS genre. Like, I'm not sick of it. I love those games. So I love Halo, for example. I love Metroid Prime. Surprise. So I'm even wearing a Metroid Prime t-shirt. So this is Planet Zebus. So yeah, I would love to see that game. Yeah, Brian, Super Nintendo World is definitely on my to-do list. Here's the thing. I don't want to go to Japan because of Super Nintendo World. I've always wanted to go to Japan. But now that Super Nintendo World is there, when I finally go to Japan, which, we might be delaying our honeymoon until next year, which I don't really want to do, but it just might work out that way. Instead of maybe doing like a Hawaiian honeymoon, we might actually do Japan. So we shall see. Oh my God, Vampire Rockstar gave a super chat. Thank you. $5. Why does Nintendo purposely destroy their community? Oh man. Like that Melee tournament, or someone makes a demo of their game in Unreal Engine. I mean, it's tricky. You use a very negative phrasing around it, which I understand. You say Nintendo is destroying their community. And I get it. I'm someone who I don't overly worry about that stuff. Even when Sony or Microsoft have gotten themselves in things like Sony being so anti-crossplay, people lost their minds about that. They were so upset about it. And I was like, well, that's dumb, but oh well. I mean, I don't really worry too much about stuff like that. Nintendo shutting down the Melee thing, when that happened, it's like, yeah, that's dumb. That's not very consumer friendly. Probably not worth your time, but oh well. So I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy, And it's not exclusive to Nintendo. It's not that I'm trying to be the person that gives a company a pass because I like that company. It's just like that stuff like that. It's like, it's bad. I don't like it. Don't be anti-crossplay. Don't shut down your Melee tournaments because of supportive hashtags. Like, that's stupid. Who cares if a game is remade in Unreal Engine if they're not trying to make money off of it? Then it's just a demo thing that exists. So it's like, yeah, I think it's stupid, but I don't have the time to worry about it too much. I'm more worried about the games and the business side and what things are happening there. Now, is Nintendo harsher than most companies? Yes. Are they too harsh? Many times, yes, they are too harsh. So I agree with that sentiment. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I'm not like, oh, they get a pass and it's totally fine, so who cares? It's not the right way to go about things. And I wish that Nintendo, who is my favorite gaming company, wasn't the most harsh. I wish it wasn't them, but it is them. And sometimes the Unreal Engine stuff, like Milky Max is somebody who remade Metroid Prime, a section of Metroid Prime in Unreal Engine, and it's beautiful. That's never been shut down. You can still watch that today. I featured that footage in my videos probably 3 times before. Never been shut down, never had a claim, never had an issue with it. So it's not a one-to-one. Now, shutting down the fan games, that's tricky, man. I'm 50-50 on the fan game thing, It's like, I don't know. The Pokemon thing, they probably didn't need to shut down. The Metroid 2 thing, AM2R, that one I kind of understand, because at the time that came out, we didn't know it, but Nintendo was working on their own version of a Metroid 2 remake at that time that became Samus Returns. And like any company that owns an IP in any industry, I don't care if you're talking about video games or the music industry or the movie industry, comic book industry, if you own your IP, you own your brand, you have to protect it. And worrying about someone else making something that uses your brand and having it confuse the consumer on what it is That is a real worry that companies have. And so there was a level of, I understand why, and it's just how it works. And I don't really blame them. You can go too far. Nintendo has gone too far in the past. Like with some other things. The Metro AM2R one, it might surprise people to hear me of all people say it, but that one didn't really bother me because they were making their own, they're already making their own. Why wouldn't they want to protect that? And so they saw it as protection. And so, and it also goes two ways because we already know that Nintendo is protective of their brands and they are legally within their right to do so. They're not breaking the law when they do that. So why would somebody even make it in the first place? You can't spend 5 years of your blood, sweat, and tears making a Metroid game remake when you know Nintendo is going to shut you down and then complain when it happens. You should have just made something else. But that's how people want to get their attention, is by the negative press of a company shutting their game down. Does that make sense? It's messy. So it's a good question. I wish Nintendo wasn't so harsh with those things, but they are. So is Sony. So is plenty of other companies. I mean, freaking Capcom and Square are still out here claiming video content on YouTube. They're like the only two companies that still does that. Nintendo doesn't, but they do. People want to protect their stuff. What are you going to do? Hidden Gem Gamers again. Boy, you love Singularity. You're making, I feel like I have to play it now. Says, I made a review of Singularity and I even managed to interview a developer who worked on it. Are you interested? Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, I would share it in the chat so people can go watch it. I think that's really cool. Did you work on Singularity? I'm wondering if you worked on the game, you know? Business is business. Yeah, Falcon. It's a messy scenario, you know. It's a Pandora's box topic to discuss for sure. You know, there's no easy way to touch on that topic about Nintendo and how they're harsh with some things. They're harsher than most companies. They're too harsh sometimes. Sometimes the positive PR of them not shutting something down is probably more valuable than them shutting something down, but that's how they operate, man. You know. KB says, guys, I have heard people saying that there will be a Super Mario movie. Yeah, they are making a movie. That's a true thing. You don't know if the Mario movie is happening. Yeah, Kay. They're making a DreamWorks. I think it's DreamWorks, right? Is making an animated Mario movie. So yeah, that's a real thing. That's happening. More Rockstar support on the Switch. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. More like Nintendo don't copy my stuff, but it's nice one, Chris. Diego says, I adore Nintendo, but even I admit they do dumb stuff sometimes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can sit here and say it's not the worst thing in the world, but is it dumb? Yeah, they're dumb pretty often. Nintendo's Nintendo, man. Zephonia, welcome to the stream. Says, just got done with work/golfing. Well, which is it? Unless golfing is your work. What did you miss? Well, just talking about a lot of Metroid, a lot of E3 stuff. What's up, Abaddon? My man, Abaddon. How you doing, man? Good to see you here, buddy. Kieran says Nintendo are within their legal rights to protect their intellectual property. Same with every other game developer out there. It's true. It's definitely true. I think they're too strict, but they are within their legal rights. So that's the great. I mean, it's like, I just kind of throw my hands up. And it's why, like I said, I don't even worry about getting involved or upset about it. I don't do it when Sony does it. I don't do it when Nintendo does it. I'm just like, whatever. You know? Sony owes me some PS5 exclusives. Give me, please. Yeah, serious. Dude, Chris, did you pick up Returnal? You should be playing Returnal because it is amazing. As you know, Jeff had been talking about it. I've been talking about it. It's a great game. What do I think of the Kirby rumors? Asked Patrick. Well, the Kirby rumors seem legit because one of the main dudes, or the game director even, said that they're working on a new Kirby game. He basically just was like, it's happening. So yeah, a new Kirby game is being made, which is cool. I think Kirby has always been a pretty successful franchise. Even the games that people don't like sell pretty well. So, yeah, I think we're going to get a new Kirby game. They talk about it being the best, most expansive Kirby game they've ever made. I hope that means it's a Kirby game that really appeals to me. The only ones I've ever liked are Epic Yarn, which I love Epic Yarn, and then Canvas Curse and Rainbow Curse. Those games are great. But the other one, well, there was that Wii game that came up. God, what was it called? On Andres Restarts podcast, we talked about it. That game was pretty decent. So I hope that they make a good one. Diego says, have I picked up Miitopia on Switch yet? No, that is not my game. I am not a Miitopia guy. So no interest. I will not be playing it. You're getting Returnal after Resident Evil 8 and Miles are finished. Okay, gotcha. It's a great game, dude, but it is hard. It is hard. Jay, what's up, Jay? My man, Jay. Good to see you here, buddy. Nice Avalanche hat, by the way. I'm guessing that's who you're rolling with in the playoffs. Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, you know me. I'm from Colorado. I'm from Denver. So my favorite teams are the Broncos, number 1, and the Avalanche, number 2. I'm not really into the NBA or the MLB, so it's like, I mean, I like basketball more than I like baseball, but I don't really care much about the Nuggets or the Rockies. I just don't really care because I don't really follow the sports. But as far as football and hockey goes, Broncos and Avalanche all the way. Avs rolling number 1 in their conference, killing it. Swept the Blues yesterday. I love it. I'm almost like more passionate about my sports since I moved away from Denver because, and Chris, tell me if you feel this way yet. Well, you're not even really a Broncos or an Avs fan, Chris, so whatever. You like the Sharks and the Bills, like nothing Colorado, so what are you going to do? But for me, as a Denver native who now lives on the West Coast, when I get to see Broncos games and Avalanche games, it makes me feel like I'm home. Yeah, you're not a Vegas fan. Yeah, I know that. Solo Watcher, just $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. No question or anything. You've got, I don't remember the character's name, but that's that baby kid from Twilight Princess. I recognize that picture. So PK Gav says, Rob, if you like Returnal and Metroid, I suggest you get a robot named Fight. Yeah, I've heard of that game. I have heard of that game. And I never played it. What are you talking about Minnesota? Wait, how'd you guys get on Minnesota? Chris is the, oh yeah. So yeah, it's a couple of my real life buddies in the chat there. So that's really funny. See, so Brian, Chris is already out here. So now it's your turn, which I think you said you're doing in 2 months anyway. So yeah, robot named Fight, man. I heard that was a great game. Oh no, Raiders fan says go Raiders. That's okay. Dude, we're worse than the Raiders. The Broncos are worse than the Raiders, dude. So your team is doing much better. Have I ever, Diego says, have you ever, probably, you probably mean, blah, 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 blah. You probably mean, have I ever played the Wario Land or WarioWare games? And the answer is yes. I have played them, and I like them. They are good. Raiders moved to Vegas, so they're the worst now. Can't argue with that. Raiders fan is a good dude. He's been in the chat for a long time, but yeah, clearly we have different taste in football teams. What are you going to do? That's okay. We can still be friends. Love Wario Land 4 on the GBA. I don't think I played that one. What's a successful E3 for you, Rob? Says Tasty Apple. Well, I mean, as far as just like the whole of an E3, I think as long as, you know, the conferences and shows are entertaining and they have a lot of surprise reveals, and if a lot of the biggest games shown at E3 across all companies show gameplay and not just stupid CG trailers, that's what makes a successful E3 to me. You know, outside of Nintendo, every other company just shows CG trailers for things. And I'm like, what does this even mean? Who cares? Who cares about a CG trailer? Cyberpunk did that for so long. Far Cry 6 was announced sometime in the past. That was at a Ubisoft Forward thing. And it's like a CG trailer. I'm like, who cares? It doesn't mean anything if it's a CG trailer. A game is not a CG movie, even if it has CG movies in it. A game is a game. Show me the game. Then I will allow you to have my excitement if you show me gameplay. And E3, as much as I love it, it does have a CG trailer problem. So exciting games, games we've never seen before, and gameplay. When those happen, E3 is successful to me, personally. Agree with the CG gameplay, trailers, gameplay all the way. Yeah. Here's a question. We got Mario Tennis and Golf. Where's Mario Strikers? Good question, Brian. And honestly, I think Mario Strikers will happen eventually. I'm more excited about golf than I would be about a Mario Strikers, but a Mario Strikers should be made. It's so popular, it'll sell like crazy and make people so excited. So, yeah, I think Mario Strikers, we haven't seen the last of that franchise, man. In fact, Nintendo just purchased Next Level Games, who is responsible for the Strikers games. So now that studio is owned by Nintendo. Dude, they're making a Strikers game. It's happening. It is absolutely happening. Without question. In just 3 months, No More Hero finally releases. I can't wait. I know. It's 3 months from Thursday. Let me see. Yes. 3 months from Thursday, baby. Right? June, July, August. 172 in the chat. Yeah, I know, sir. I got a really, really good turnout for today's live stream. So thank you guys. I usually hover around 100, but we've been at over 180 a couple times. So I think this might have even broken my record. Around 180 or 185. Whoops. Is my record for a live stream. I think, right? Maybe I had one random 200 viewer live stream like years ago. I don't even remember now. Yeah, get the likes up. Yeah. Mario Hockey. Yo, no, Brian, it looks like somebody else might have said that in the chat, but dude, I've been asking for Mario Hockey forever. Apparently, now, Brian, I don't know if you know this. There was a 3DS Mario Sports collection a couple of years ago where they had like basketball and tennis and stuff. And I guess there was a hockey mini game on that. But if they need to make a real fleshed out, just like Strikers, oh my God, a Mario Hockey game would be the best sports game they could make. It's just perfect. Dude, Nintendo would, if they can make tennis fun, they can make hockey a banger. So yeah, Mario Sports Mix or Sports Mix. See, I can't talk today, guys. Oh my goodness. Sports Mix? Holy smokes. Too much coffee. Speaking of coffee. Dude, Brian, I'm loving this hat, man. I owe you big time. Jeremy Blurred with the super chat. Thank you for a super chat. Says, all right, Mr. Wise Guy. You call yours channel Rule of Two Review, but do you know which two characters swap between F-Zero and Star Fox? What do you mean? Swap between F-Zero and Star Fox? I don't know. I mean, Captain Falcon and F-Zero, Fox McCloud and Star Fox. There's a Falco in Star Fox and a Captain Falcon in F-Zero. I have no idea. I don't know what you mean. Am I missing something obvious? Maybe I'm being a dummy. What am I missing? I don't get it. Imagine breaking Yoshi's teeth on the ice. That'd be so weird. Yeah, Mario Sports Mix, Brian. Hi, Rob says, Kiyo Kamehameha. Nice. I'm glad you just got here. I'm probably not going too much longer, but good to see you here. James McLeod. Who's James McLeod in F-Zero? James McLeod is Star Fox's dad. Is there a James McLeod in F-Zero? What the heck is going on? All right, I'm just going to Google this. The Google will have my answers. James McLeod F-Zero. Okay, well, I guess. James McLeod is the leader of Flight Squad Galaxy Dogs, according to F-Zero GX. 32 years old, and had his combat plane converted into an F-Zero machine. Oh. There you go. I didn't. I probably like knew that or whatever. I mean, I've played F-Zero GX. I still own F-Zero GX. I played it 1,000 times. His appearance is strikingly similar to the character of the same name, the long deceased father of protagonist Fox McCloud in the series Star Fox. Similar jumpsuit jacket. Well, dude, let's get a Star Fox F-Zero crossover, man. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. Very cool. Very, very cool. Solo Watcher 86 with I think you had the other super chat, $4.99. Not to put you in the hot seat, but what was your opinion on Federation Force? I think Next Level did a good job. Just a victim of hype/rage cycle. Well, Solo Watcher, good question. I don't mind the hot seat. I can take the heat, and I can easily answer this question because I've done it before. I like Federation Force. I've said it many times. It is a good game. It is such a well-made game. The graphics, the incredible music and sound design, and the gameplay are all out of this world for a 3DS game. That is a good, fun game to play. But I think they made the mistake of making it a Metroid game. And at the time it was announced in 2015, the Wii was in the middle of the Wii U cycle, and we had been waiting for a new Metroid game since Other M in 2010. And the first one we get was a 3DS game that's a chibi-style, multiplayer-focused Metroid game without Samus. So it was just not the right game to announce at that time. It was just bad. But the game, the final product, it's a fun game. I'll always defend it as a fun, well-made game. It just is. So I have no qualms about answering that. No issues saying that out loud to you guys. It's good. Diz Does Games, $5 super chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for a super chat. Very cool. Says, happy to finally catch you live. Yes, you did catch me live. Thanks for being the best Metroid YouTuber. Oh, shucks. Thanks. Nice to listen to someone who loves the franchise as much as I do. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for a super chat. And Metroid is the best franchise. And, you know, like I said, we don't know if Metroid is going to be at E3 next month. But I absolutely believe, you guys, listen to me when I say this, we are going to see Metroid in 2021. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Metroid, this is the year Metroid returns. That doesn't even mean a game releases this year, but Nintendo will acknowledge Metroid, and I think they are going to be showing or announcing some kind of Metroid game, including potentially a Prime 4 trailer. And this could even happen at the Game Awards in December. So we got, we can go past E3 without Metroid, and it's still okay. That's still half of the year for Nintendo to show us more Metroid. So, yeah. So I appreciate you being here. Luis Henrique Ramos with $1.90. Forgive me. I don't know what that currency is. It just says R. Would that be a rupee? A ruble, I think? Or is a real a currency? What if I can Google just R currency? Let's see if just R is enough. What is that? South African Rand. Okay. Wow. All the way from South Africa. Well, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the chat. Oh, it's a Brazilian real. Oh, I said that, right? A real? When I Google it, it says Rand, R-A-N-D. But I guess, yeah, it's a real. So thank you. Appreciate you big time. Very, very much so. Josh Coleman says, I always hear you talking about this Switch Pro is actually next gen. Well, I haven't said exactly that. I'll correct that in a minute, but let me finish your question. How the Switch Pro is actually next gen, but we are 4 years in and 4K confirmed. We are just past halfway. So how is that next gen? Okay, so thanks for the question. I appreciate that you've obviously been hearing my conversations, but I think you've way misunderstood me, and you're not the only one. Okay, so this is a big topic. What's the most succinct way for me to discuss this? So, with the Switch Pro thing specifically, I have never said it is next gen or it's going to be next gen. What I've said is that right now, while it's still a mystery and we don't know what it could be, that there is a range, there is a spectrum of things it could be. from the smallest, tiniest upgrade that could be so small, it doesn't even make a difference. Like when the battery thing launched in 2019, it just replaced the SKU, but it wasn't any sort of real upgrade. So it could be a very small thing. It could be a medium kind of thing where it improves the frame rates, the resolution, and has a bigger screen. Or it could be a major upgrade that adds a huge amount of power that still is a Switch. So it's not a Switch 2, it's a Switch Pro, but it adds so much power to the point that it has exclusive games that are more on par with PS5 and Series X than they are with last gen. And even if Nintendo doesn't call it a Switch 2 and they call it a Switch Pro, I think that would be a next-gen leap in power, even if the console doesn't become the Switch 2 next generation. But that's a next-gen leap in power. If it has exclusive games and games look almost as good as they do on PS5 and Series X, who cares what Nintendo calls it? It's a next-gen leap in power. Now, what I've also said is I don't expect it to be this. And you can watch my videos and my live stream. I've never said I expect it to be this. I've said it's an option on the table, and it is an option on the table, but I do not, if I was going to put money on it, I don't think it's this. I think it's this. It's the middle of the road. It's a typical Pro upgrade, slightly improved graphics, frame rate, and stuff, and apparently the 7-inch screen. And that's what it is. It's a middle of the road, temporary upgrade, and that's what it's going to be. That's what I think it's going to be. And that's what I think most people think it's going to be. But a next-gen leap in power is on the table. We just have to wait for Nintendo to confirm what it's going to be. Okay? So that's that. You talk about Furukawa saying, we're halfway through the Switch life cycle. Yeah, he has said that. For one, Furukawa is no longer in charge. He said that a couple of years ago. And I also think that a couple of things could happen. I think that just like when Activision said Destiny was a 10-year plan, and that included multiple games named Destiny, such as Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, there's a chance that the Switch family and ecosystem could be 10-ish years from 2017 to 2027, but that could include eventually a next-gen Switch 2, whatever that becomes. Whether that's the Switch Pro thing we're talking about or just an actual next-gen machine, which I do believe is on the horizon in the next 2 to 3 years, that could be what they mean. And maybe the whole Switch 10-year plan could be the Switch and the Switch 2. And that's what it is, right? I mean, all of that's possible. And I've always said that all of that's possible. I've never committed to the Switch Pro being a next-gen machine, but I've said it might have a next-gen leap in power. And it might. We don't know. So that's kind of what's fun when you talk about it this way, I will say, I was predicting potentially a next-gen Nintendo console as early as late next year. But if the Switch Pro comes out, I think that means that prediction's wrong. And I would think maybe 2023 might be the target for them to go next-gen. Because think about it, you guys. If we get a middle-of-the-road Switch Pro upgrade that just improves some frame rate and makes a bigger screen on the Switch, do you guys think that's enough for the current Switch to last until 2027? I mean, that's, according to the timeline and the 10-year plan and people who are so dialed into like, oh, the Switch is going to last forever. It's selling so well. They're never going to go next gen. You think 2027? I mean, say that out loud to yourself. Say that year out loud to yourself. That is 6 years from this year. How can they possibly not move on to a next-gen machine? Whether it's a Switch, a hybrid, a home console, a freaking virtual reality, whatever they do, how can they not move on before 2027? They will. They have to. Let alone the fact that PS5 and Series X have now come out, which changes the industry even further. And Nintendo has shown they care about third parties more than ever this generation. Third parties ain't going to be making their games, Mortal Kombat 12, the next Call of Duty, the Grand Theft Auto 6. They're not going to make those games on the 2017 Switch hardware. Even if we get a Switch Pro this year, they're not putting those games on that device. There's no way. It needs to be way more capable to get those games. So, but between now and 2027, again, say that year out loud, they're going to go next gen. They're going to. My predictions on some of the time frames absolutely could be wrong, they're predictions for a reason because I don't know the answer. So I use my experience and my fanship as a gamer to say, I think around this time they'll do it. But even if that's wrong, they're going to do it before 10 years is up. They're not going 10 years on the Switch, you guys. There's no way. I know it's selling. What's happening, and I understand it. We're humans, and so we're guilty of feeding into our emotions. What's happening is right now it's selling so well and is so popular and so successful that it's impossible to see beyond the trees, beyond the horizon of record-breaking sales. And it's easy to forget that eventually, no matter what Nintendo does, those sales will stop. And eventually, the Switch won't be breaking records anymore. And they will have to just, the technology will become so outdated, Nintendo has to move on. I think it's probably 2023. Yes, I might be wrong. So if it's 24 or 25 even, okay, that would blow my mind if they go that long. But if they do, that's still well before 27. The 10-year thing is not true for the 2017 Switch hardware. There's no way. There just is no way. So anyway, I know I'm like really animated and I probably seem heated about this. I think it's more just that I just really believe in this. And it just has surprised me how, because of the Switch's incredible sales, which I will never deny, and I love to see it, people are just like, they're so locked into the moment. They're so like zeitgeist period. This is what it is. And it's always going to be this. And that's not how these things work. The Wii was breaking records at one point, but by 2011, the sales died. And in doing, and Nintendo's choice to wait until the sales die to release their next console, look at what happened. The Wii U, as much as I love it, was a huge failure. I think Nintendo would be smarter this time to, maybe wait for sales to wane a little bit, but they can't wait for the Switch to become just a totally dead, uninteresting machine before then releasing their next console. I think they want to carry some of the momentum. Sony has done it very well with the PS4 sales into the PS5 sales. Nintendo could do something similar with the Switch. So, yeah, that's my rant. And it's a good question. So this was born out of a question from Josh. I appreciate your question. Like I said, I think you have misheard or misinterpreted what I've said, which is a little bit frustrating. And you're not alone. A lot of people do that. It's like, why do we spend so much time putting ourselves on the internet and talking about these things and sharing our thoughts if people don't really open their ears and listen? I've never said the Switch Pro will be next gen. I've discussed that range while still saying more than likely it's just a middle of the road upgrade. But even that upgrade is not going to extend the Switch 6 more years. How can that possibly, a middle of the road upgrade extending for 6 years is an impossibility. I will put money on that now. It's just not enough. A next-gen leap in power potentially could, even if Nintendo doesn't call it Switch 2. So I made a video a couple weeks ago about that. Watch it if you haven't seen it. And I explained it in that video as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Woo. Okay. Got to breathe. Kamehameha says, nah, bro, I love when you're animated. Well, that's cool. I'm not obviously not trying to be, I'm not angry. I guess, get passionate about it because, part of it is because of the misinterpretation of the words I've said. Maybe you get a little bit more animated because you really want to defend, like, no, this is what I've actually said. And so you just want to clarify. So, Josh, you say, I chatted this before, but I misphrased. It was your prediction on next gen being, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. And yeah, I will admit, I have been saying, I think as early as next year, and I mean like November next year, 2022, yeah, we might see Nintendo go next gen. I have been saying that, absolutely. And if we don't get a Switch Pro, I still think that could be the earliest time. What I've been saying for about a year is 2022 or 23. Those have been my target years for next gen. If a Switch Pro releases this year, I will admit 2022 is wrong. I don't think that's possible, but I will still hold on to 23 as a possibility. So it just all remains to be seen, man. All any of us can do is guess. We're all guessing. We don't have the info. We've got the rumors. We've got the Bloomberg reports. We've got 2 years of discussions about this, but we have nothing concrete from Nintendo. So all we can do is guess anyway. So no one's guess is right or wrong until we know. And so that's why you shouldn't really like be mad or frustrated at what somebody guesses because it's a guess. Why be upset at a guess? You know, once we know, we'll know the guesses that were right and we'll know the guesses that were wrong. But then we'll have the info. Then we can form more informed opinions about facts. And then we just move forward from there based on facts. So, yeah. Nintendo Switch 3 in 2030. Calling it now. Brian, killing me, bro. I don't even want to think into 2030. Just sounds like the too far off future. It's 9 years from now, but still. You never know. You never know. Falcon says, I foresee a Switch 2. The Switch brand and tech gimmick is just too unique to disappear into the past. Yeah, I think they're going to stick to the Switch concept at least one more time. Maybe forever. Maybe this is just what Nintendo does forever now, but maybe not. Definitely, I think definitely their next machine, bare minimum. Bare minimum. Sweet Life of Dio Brando says, my bet is Switch successor 2023. Yeah, I mean, that I agree. I've been saying 22 or 23 for that. And the longer we go into this year, the longer sales, I'll admit this, the longer sales stay strong, the more I think 22 is not likely. But I do still think 23 is likely. We'll see. You know, I do my best to be as consistent as I can, you know, like I don't just say opinions and predictions just to say them. Like that's my bold theory. And a bold prediction is a bold prediction for a reason. It's only bold if it seems unlikely to most people, right? And so that's why my bold prediction has been 22 or 23 for next gen, because most people don't think so. Most people wouldn't agree. Most people would say, Rob, you're crazy. And people have said that. And maybe I am. I'm not going to be too ashamed to admit I'm wrong if I'm proven wrong. But that's the one I feel like comfortable stepping out on a ledge and making the bold prediction. Because the benefit of a bold prediction is if you're right, it may you seem extra right because no one else thought it was possible and you might have been the only one. So, you know, that's how a bold prediction works. And I've never been shy about acknowledging it is a bold prediction. Most people don't agree. I'm the only person who thinks that. So we'll see. Juan Castillo says, calling it now, next gen Switch release March 2024. Maybe that could also be possible. But again, here's the thing. Now we're talking about 2023 and 2024 for next gen. No one is saying 2027. Does anyone think Nintendo is going to wait until 2027 to release their next gen console? If you do, please, by all means, I'm not going to roast you. By all means, put it in the chat. If you think the 10-year thing and Furukawa's quotes means it's 2027, 27 until we get the next gen Switch, it just blows my mind. It's impossible. Diego, you say yes. Okay, so there we go. So if that happens, Diego, you can very proudly say you were right. You think it's going to be 2027. Okay. Switch refresh will carry till March 2024. Oh, yeah, you said that one. Yeah. Arbiter of Truth says 23 or 24. Josh says, I respect your opinion on next gen. It's just going off of pure math. It's been 4 years since launch. If it's halfway, 4 more years adds up to 25. A very good point. You are totally right. Maybe that happens. I think what I will say, to give credence to people who think I'm crazy, I think 2025 really is the last possible year that I could see Nintendo releasing their next gen console. And I think that's pushing it. But yeah, maybe. If the Switch Pro is significant enough of an upgrade without being like a next gen power increase, then sure, I guess 2025 would have to be the latest I could see. CBFFL says it perfectly. No console has ever lasted 10 years as a flagship product. And that is the important thing, okay? It's a great comparison is the PlayStation 2, which absolutely existed as a console getting new games for 10 years. But what happened well before that 10 years was up? The PlayStation 3 launched. So their front-facing console was no longer the PlayStation 2. So, Diego, you say Nintendo themselves said it, for Pete's sake. Sure, let's pretend 10 years for the 2017 Switch. Yeah, up to 2027, maybe the Switch will still be getting some new games and it'll still be available on store shelves to purchase. Sure. But what's going to happen well before 2027? The next gen machine will launch. I guarantee it. Just like with the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3. That's it. You know? I mean, PlayStation 2 was 2000, PlayStation 3 was 2006. But up until 2000, I don't know, 9, 2008, 9 or 10, you could still buy brand new PlayStation 2 games that they were making, like sports games and stuff. I think even Call of Duty maybe. Okay. But the PlayStation 3 came out after only 6 years. So the PlayStation 2 wasn't, as CBFL said, the PlayStation 2 was not their flagship front-facing company-defining console. It just was riding the coattails of all the installed units and some games that were still releasing. The Wii even did that. Good Lord, they're still making Just Dance for the freaking Wii. Is the Wii a 14, 15-year console from 2006 to 2021? No, the Wii died so long ago. Actually, the Wii died 10 years ago, 2011. Well, 9 years ago, 2012. So I don't know. I guess it just makes so much sense to me. But hey, man, like I said, I'm not trying to roast anyone. So Diego, you think it's going to be 2027 before we see a new successor next gen console? Maybe you're right. To be fair, none of us know the answer. So if that happens, all the credit to you, because you will have been right. Brian says the Wii never died in my heart. I've discussed Metroid Dread. I made a video about Metroid Prime 4 potentially being Metroid Dread. I'll link it here so you can watch it afterwards. It's like 3 years old. Oh, what am I doing? I need YouTube. Okay. Wait, Metroid Dread. My old house, my old room. And for some reason, my camera, which just did not pick up, it was so blurry. There, that's my video where I discussed if Metroid Prime 4 could actually be Metroid Dread. This is August 2018. So that's a while ago. So yeah, I mean, I totally hear you, Diego. I totally get you, man. You say, sure, maybe they could change their plans, but at the moment, I'm taking their word. There's nothing wrong with that. You're right when you say it's what Nintendo said. The last time Furukawa talked about it like 2 years ago, I think. He said 10 years for Nintendo Switch. Yeah, absolutely. I can't fault you for that. So you have more reason to believe it, I guess, than maybe I do. My theory, but we'll see what happens. The Wii is not dead. Blasphemous. Oh, but it is. And I like the Wii. Josh says, just think of this. PS4 lasted until 2020. 7 years. 8 years for Switch Pro. Isn't that far of a stretch for next-gen release? PS4 Pro lasted 4 years. Switch could easily last that long. Yeah, that math makes sense. I think the scenarios are a little bit different because what we have to factor in, and I know maybe people hate to do this with Nintendo, but it's important because it matters, is a little bit of the power situation. And I know Nintendo doesn't focus on power and focus on graphics. It's not their first thought. And so maybe they don't have to care about it as much. And I agree, I get that. But I think when you look at the industry moving around the companies, that's where it does matter. And with Sony and the PS4, they were on the cutting edge of console graphics and power. So their decisions were based on something different. With Nintendo, not in the sales department, but in the graphics and power department, which means also in the third-party content department, they have to play catch up. Sony didn't have to play catch up when they made their decisions with the PS4, the PS4 Pro, and then to go next gen with PS5. Nintendo has to consider a little bit playing catch up to power. So simply because of the next generation PS5 and Series X existing, it might force Nintendo's hand a little bit sooner than 8 years. That's a huge part of my personal thinking when I talk about it. Doesn't mean that I'm right, but it's just part of what informs my opinion, if that makes sense. Because you could be right. You absolutely could be right, but that's just what I think. So now you're playing with power. Nintendo power. 100 likes. Oh, do I have 100 likes? Yeah, this stream has been popping. You guys are awesome. I probably got a bunch of, let me see, I probably got a bunch of downvotes for yelling about the next gen. Yeah, only 3 downvotes. It's not bad. And yeah. I actually am probably going to wrap up because I'm hungry. And we also have a puppy who's healing from surgery. And I need to make sure she's doing okay, get her some food, make sure she gets taken out. She's been on all sorts of drugs, you know, because she had her stomach cut open. So I would love a new Geist game. Yeah, that would be cool, Shane, but I think that was a one and done. It's a great game. Well, it wasn't great. It was good. Do I think there will be a Metroid Prime 4 limited edition Switch bundle? I sure hope so. Maybe. It could happen, and I would buy the hell out of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Hour and a half stream. That's pretty long for me. I usually only do around an hour. But this has been fun. This has been great. I'll try to do at least one more pre-E3 and pre-surgery. You know, we'll see how that works out. So thanks, Falcon. I appreciate you, bro. This is fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ton of super chats. Thank you for all the donations. Very cool. Had my buddies Brian in here, my buddy Chris. Brian, thank you for the sweet Avalanche hat. Go Avs. Yeah, and you know, a couple more videos this week, and maybe I'll be back next week to talk about more E3 stuff. Maybe we get news this week. So that is all. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.